it is
Okay, got it.
and so if it's been everything from like a lot of them are just like real time scenes, but I've done scenes with folks that are like 10 scenes in 10 minutes. Really, it's all about like how you like to play. So however you want to play. And then afterwards we'll chat about like how you got into improv and anything that's coming up, anything you wanna promote or anything like that, classes, all that fun stuff.
Coolio.
Let's see. I will tell you, we have all right. So now it is being streamed live. My friend, pick a number 1 to 16.
Yeah, 7.
Now, does 7 have any sort of special meaning for you, or is it just the number that came to your head?
It's always been my favorite number, lucky number.
All right. Well, here we go. Okay, so our suggestion comes from
Let's see how lucky we are.
Well, it's Mike Milazzo, who's a great improviser. Also, is a pizza maker in Chicago. He has a restaurant that serves Detroit style pizza, and it's really good. I've had it before. And our suggestion is, okay, let's see if I'm saying this right. Indefatigable. I don't even know if I'm close. Indefatigable.
Indefatigable.
Yeah.
Indefatigable.
Indefatigable. That's our suggestion.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Indefatigable. Easy for you to say.
Yeah, it is, right?
I'm sorry. Do you have this room now?
I've signed up for it. I'm a few minutes early, so if you want, I can come back. I'll come back.
No, that's fine. It's yours.
No. It's technically still yours. It's mine, and you got 2 minutes left, so you can just use it for whatever.
It might be longer than 2 minutes.
Okay. Do you mind if I just sit here then?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
And you see I'm in crisis here?
Yeah.
What do you have, empathy or not?
I want to ask if
you're in my room and I've got it.
Sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I laugh when I get nervous. I wanna see
You're laughing at my misery. You're a face. You're such and such. Oh, I can say some things. Get out of here until my 2 minutes are done, will you? I'm down to now a minute. I only have a minute left in this room. God, stop laughing.
I'm nervous.
I'm having a breakdown.
It's just because I'm nervous. When I get nervous, I laugh. I laugh at funerals. This is making me you're not making me nervous. I'm nervous because I came in too early. And then when you yelled, I'm scared, but I start laughing. I'm sorry.
Room's yours. My time is up.
You got laid off. You were one of the guys that got laid off. I'm sorry. Oh God, they went through a round of layoffs. I think that's why I'm in this. Oh my God, I'm getting fired. I'm in the room that they fire people. That's why I'm here.
I didn't tell you that.
Oh my God. God, see, I'm gonna laugh. I'm very sad, but I'm gonna laugh. This is the worst thing. I just.
You know how it feels now?
Yeah.
You know how it feels? You make fun of others' misery, and then it comes back to you. That's called instant karma, brother. That's what John Lennon was singing about. That's in your face.
Laugh at me because I just got a house, and my wife just told me that she's pregnant, and of course I'm going to be fired. And you know what? I showed up early to my own firing. How great is that?
Do you want a hug?
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, excuse me.
It's okay. Oh, you went to the Euro place. You had a Euro sandwich. Oh,
It's indigestion. I need to take a pill, and it's tied to my emotions, which are now off the friggin' chart. I mean, if you're laid off and I'm laid off, what are we going to do?
I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't see this. I mean, I saw it coming, but I didn't think it would be me.
Yeah, you never think it's going to be you until it is.
You
And
never
now,
think it's you.
I tell you, we could just, you're not officially fired yet. You
No.
could go in and just download all the material that we need to start up a rival company. We could take over the business. I've got at home all the leads, the clients, and
Okay. You got a trusting face. You got a trusting face. Here. That's the flash drive. I just downloaded everything.
God.
And it wasn't even because I thought I was going to get fired. I was going to start my own company anyway. You got a trusting face. I want you to go in on it with me. This is not, you're talking about instant karma. This is instant karma. We were meant to meet. That's the thing. You and I, brother, were meant to meet today.
I haven't even told you my name. Howie. I'm Howie.
Howie. Oh my God. It's good to meet you. I'm David.
David?
Yeah. David Thompson with no P. Thompson, Thomson. There's no P.
No P.
No.
Thompson without a P.
Yeah. It's like a pool. There's no, well, it's an ool because we don't want P in it. It's the same thing. My last name is Thompson. No P. Thomson.
No one wants you to pee in the Yule.
No. Don't P in the ool. Right.
No, and never. And Finkelstein's my name, Howie Finkelstein, but ironically, there's no R.
Finkelstein. I mean, that makes sense.
This is gold.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I was having a crisis of conscience the other day because I'd been downloading this information. I didn't know why I was doing it. I'm like, I just want to protect myself.
You were prescient.
Yes.
You were
Prescient.
listening to your instincts.
Yes. Which, I'll be honest, they've never steered me wrong. I'll be completely, my instincts never steered me wrong. I have an instinct about you and it's not going to steer me wrong.
I think we have a partnership going on here, and that I think that between you and me and this, we are going to make a fortune. There's one catch though here.
Okay.
You're still working for the company.
Technically for another minute. Well, technically for a minute, but then I don't know. I know I was just supposed to meet here.
And they haven't come in. They haven't come in to fire your ass.
But let me tell you something. It's time I bet on me. And it's time I bet on you. I would rather bet on you than I want to bet on this company. I don't care. Listen, I don't care that it's Salesforce. I don't care that that's the company. I think it's time I took that leap of faith. And now, if not now, then when? I mean, Vic's going to come in here and he's going to act very nice because Vic is a nice guy. I'm not going to lie. He's a nice guy. And
I know.
He's going to let me down real easy. And instead of being taken aback, depressed, it's going to be something, I'm going to change my attitude. I'm going to be grateful for that information because it's pushing me to bet on myself. Yeah.
My heart is swelling.
Yeah.
My future is finally bright. This dark cloud when you came in, I had over me is clearing up. I think the sun is going to shine all day.
Howie. Get in here.
Yes.
Get in here.
Thompson and Finkelstein. No, no R.
Thank you. I mean, you want to put my name first? Thank you.
Well, alphabetically. No, you're the one who gave the hard drive.
I mean,
it should be you. You're the one who came up with the goods. I just came up with the idea.
You're the idea man. I'm the execution man.
We're in business, baby.
Can you do me a favor, Howie? Will you do me a favor?
Anything.
will you stay here with me? Because when Vic walks in, I want you to be here to hear that news with me. I feel like this is the beginning. I feel like this is the end of Some Like It Hot, where he goes, this is the beginning. Is that the movie where he goes, this is the beginning? No, that movie, he goes, nobody's perfect. What's the movie that they go, this, yes. What's the movie where they go, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship? Isn't that the end? I feel like that.
Zardoz.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. So
Jurassic Park.
Yes. Jurassic Park. That's the movie I'm thinking of. This is the beginning of a beautiful
friendship. Yes.
Thank you. I knew I'd been waiting outside. I saw you cry and I'm like, I should just go in. And I'll be honest, at first I was going to say I should go in and claim the room because I was nervous about getting fired. But the fact I came in, you didn't leave and stuck around, that's a sign, but that is a sign for us.
I may break down though if
Good.
when he gets here,
Good.
I might start crying again.
Do it. Hey, if you start crying, then I'm going to start laughing and he's going to think I'm very, very confident. So if you want to start crying, brother, I'm there for you. Whatever. Listen, I got your back. Sing. Yeah. Jeffrey.
Like an aftershave.
That's brother. That was awesome. Thank you for that.
No, thank you. I was tempted that we'd wipe and go to after the meeting where perhaps you were kept with the company and I had to give the flash drive back, but that's writing too much.
Well, it's funny you say that because I thought next beat of this is Vic comes in for a promotion and I'm getting your job.
Yes.
And then I got to make the trip. But
the world of possibilities.
Well, I mean, isn't that why we got into it? Is these possibilities of like anything can happen? And like, let's see. I had a friend who said, I can't wait to see where we go and who we meet. And I think that's a great attitude before you start. It's like, I can't wait to see what's going to happen, whatever it is. And like, I love that you come from, you're all acting, baby. You come from emotional choices. You make those strong choices.
Want your flash drive back?
Thank you. I love that. We talked about that before we came on, is like the ability to use props and angles and treating this almost like you're improvising in front of a camera for like TV or film. And so like, what got you into improv? What made you take your first class, do your first show? Like, what was that?
I think I was starting to improvise when I came out of the womb. Well, early on, doing variety shows in junior high and then high school, and then discovering the Renaissance Fair and creating a character and improvising on the streets there. And then in college at San Francisco State, and then coming back to Los Angeles in the early 80s, started working with improv groups like LA Connection, and then started jamming with friends who were working with the Groundlings. And that group sort of turned into, the regular jam group turned into a group called the Comedy Omelet, which became the core players. Actually, out of that came a group of folk that didn't want to stop when the omelet was breaking up. And I called the group the Flying Penguins. And the members of the Penguins, I had gone to London and saw theater sports competition there in London of Dutch, Canadian, and American players teams. And a gentleman named Dan O'Connor was on the American team. He had just moved from San Francisco, where he helped start Bay Area theater sports, and said, there's no theater sports in Los Angeles. I said, come jam with us. And so we started jamming with Dan, the Flying Penguins, and he and Ellen Idelson, the late great Ellie, formed basically with the Flying Penguins as the good part of the varsity team, started LA Theater Sports, which is now in its 37th year or something.
Crazy.
As Improv. They do
2-hour
Jane Austen or Sondheim musicals, whatever. And then I filled in during some of the theater sports first national competitions, whatever, and helped Bay Area Theater Sports as their extra player
when they only sent 3 down, I stepped in and helped them win 2 championships, which was really fun. And so that narrative improv is what I focused on. But then also I've been in groups that have been, bar prov. I was with the the Laugh Factory Improv Jam for better part of a year. And they became Wrought Irony, sort of the house improv group at the Laugh Factory on the Sunset Strip. And then after moving back to the Bay Area, I've worked with I united the different improv troupes and started the Best of Sonoma County Improv and did a couple shows with them. And there was 5 or 6 just terrific groups and united them for a couple shows, and then started working with the 6th Street Theater and the 6th Street Improv Group.
Yeah.
And then that sort of factioned into different places and became, one of them was the Evil Comedy Council that is now Evil Comedy and still going, I hope, through the pandemic. And then I've taught improv, both short form and long form at Sonoma State, and just love it. I actually got invited once to, when the Ash Grove reopened, the Second City Alumni Show. I was blessed to be friends with Beans Morocco from the committee and Second City, and he brought me along, and I got to jam one night with Dan Castellaneta and Paul Dooley and Mike Norris and Jane Machowski.
Jeff Machowski and Jane, yeah.
Anyway, it was just brilliant, and of course, I kind of froze. My scene was brilliant because, give Dan Castellaneta anything to do and it flew, and Jane and Jeff were in the scene, and it was fantastic. But I froze up because there was Elaine May at the table next to the stage, and I was like, me, keep your life going. It was so thrilling.
And then they're like, I really loved your silent choice. You're like, yeah.
I wish, yeah. Well,
it's hard. It's hard when you get in those, like when you're in a scene with someone you've looked up to or someone you looked up to is there. It's human. I mean, I've been in those scenes where it's like, oh my God, so-and-so is here. And you try not to. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. You still are in those moments of, that's somebody that I look up to. That's someone that I used to watch and idolize.
When I was probably 6 years old, I discovered Nichols and May's records in my parents' record collection and just ate those up.
Yeah.
Examining Doctors, I just played to was worn out.
It holds up. It holds up today. You listen to those and the funeral sketch and in the car, the 2 teenagers, and you're watching. It's like, these are not 3-minute scenes. These are like 8-9 minute scenes, man, that hold up to this day.
And you really learn, especially from reading about them, how Nichols really needed the sort of the grounding, almost straight man's scripted stuff. Yeah. So Elaine could just jump around him and tickle everyone's fancy while doing it. Really lovely stuff. And then, of course, learning the Herald format is just so rich because people have moved on with Armando and all these different techniques to bring new angles and new creativity and formats. And it's just delightful and exciting, and can't get enough.
I mean, did you ever think, because you were around during the time that it was really being pushed long, you saw the long form go from just a tool to then become an art form. You were also around the time when there were a bunch of, I remember those stand-up clubs where they would have an improv troupe, like house troupe, that would come on every now and then. I enjoyed that more than the stand-up. So you've been around to see that kind of transition to, now there are so many different long form groups and formats, and it's gone from basically just the Herald to now you see a whole bunch, and it's how exciting to see throughout the world that people are doing this.
Yeah, well, the bar prov folk had, it was hard to keep a balance. I saw artists like Jeff Goldberg or Andy Goldberg's group, Off the Wall, with such great talent in it, finesse, keeping things going, and blackouts, and the same thing there at the Laugh Factory with the Wrought Irony, and they had set sketches, bits, musicals, whatever they would do, that they knew that a drunk audience member who'd come to see Seinfeld or
Yes.
whoever would take and be able to heckle, and they would still live. Whereas the evolution of then long form, it became more of almost a theatrical, and in cases like with what Improv is doing, a religious experience, because it's like, how do they reincorporate this minor character that had a bit part in the first act, in the last act, to be the whole anchoring denouement? It's remarkable, and it's also it's a muscle that a lot of these artists have flexed and exercised and developed over the years. And I cherish that I know and I'm peers with a lot of them. And it is thrilling.
And you touched briefly about the committee out of San Francisco, which is, I mean, I think people remember that group, but I don't know if they completely appreciate what they did specifically for comedy and improv, but long form especially too. It's like what the influence they had on it. It wasn't just Second City. Like, they were doing some amazing stuff. Yeah,
well, Del came in. I think Alan Myerson needed Del to come in to fill in for him or something, or he came in to direct and I believe started developing Harold with them. The committee had a very, I think Alan and Latifah, when they came, wanted to go to a town that had intelligence. And San Francisco was a college town that was not New York. And they wanted to be activists. And very much so. I remember going to, I think it was Bean's Morocco solo show, and David Steinberg and Alan and Peter Bonerz and Howard Hessman, they all came to that show to support Beans. And during the break, I came out, I asked Howard, I said, is it true that you, and I think Alan was part of this conversation, is it true that you started a small riot when the committee was at the Tiffany Theater on the Sunset Strip by, you were taking a break during one of their 24-hour marathons. They set one actor, every troupe has got one actor who could just hold the stage and go forever. Yeah. With their own neuroses. And they went out for a smoke break at 3 a.m. and there was the West Hollywood sheriff harassing a black couple in a Lincoln Continental or something, and really shaking them down. And I thought it was, I had heard Howard who did that, who went in and said, folks, we all need to stretch our legs. Come on out. Let's see how our local constabulary treats our citizens. And they all went out and surrounded the car and the couple being being accosted, and the cops called for backup, and a dozen cops came and forced everyone back into the theater and all. Originally, I had heard that it was a protest against the Vietnam War. That they said, let's go out and protest. And you see how a simple local harassment thing became a national thing through urban legend or whatever. It's like telegraph, that old, right. Someone says that, and by the time it gets around the circle, it's like becomes something completely different. Yeah. Anyway, they had a nice laugh of that. The committee had about, I guess, 5 years ago or so, their 50th reunion up here that I was privileged. Jamie Wright invited me, who's doing the documentary on the group. And all the living, Gary Goodrow was still alive, all the members that were still around came to that. And I remember at one point, Lorne Michaels sent his telegram, and Charna Halpern sent a telegram, congratulating. And at one point, there was this loud ruckus in the front row. Someone had fallen out of their seat, and it was Howard Hessman, had just like fallen out of his seat. Everyone thought he had died, had a heart attack. No, it was just a gag.
Once an improviser, always an improviser. And it makes sense now, because you see that influence that Del brought to Chicago at IO, and groups like the Upright Citizens Brigade and Adam McKay, and they were like, Adam McKay especially was so subversive, and he did a bit that was Adam McKay's suicide, and he put these flyers up all around town and said, come to this corner, and he stood on top of the building and he made this announcement, and then he threw like a dummy overboard. But like, they were that, you see that influence where it was like, comedy could be subversive, and we can use that to address social issues as well. And that the University of Chicago is where Second City started, so they started to do all that kind of stuff right there, of like being subversive and using the comedy to prove a point.
I have to prove a point that, because I teach and I'm always, Keith Johnstone's Improv or Truth and Comedy, what's the ultimate Bible? Upright Citizens Brigade's comedy manual, it's a comedy improvisational manual, is so fantastic and thorough. I highly recommend it to anyone really wanting to sink their teeth into all these games we're talking about and everything. Get it from their website, probably.
And they had years ago, they had a show on Comedy Central, and it's really about this subversive. They played these characters and they were always trying to bring down authority. And I think that's a through line, especially for long form, that's kind of kept going. And it's gonna continue and move on and transform and morph into something. And my friends Rachel Mason and Shari Hazlitt are doing a comedy social, or not comedies, and it's a social justice project using improv and improvisers, and they're working on that now and using people from all over the world. And so it can be, and that's one thing I remember from classes with Dell and classes even with like a guy named Martin DeMott at Second City, of like, let's say something with this. Let's not just do comedy, but like, let's use it to say so. Let's make points about it. Let's take, add a little bit of Dada into your performance, add a little bit of going after something.
Absolutely. It's been used for many years in drama therapy for playback. And my dad even took it into prisons in San Diego County. And as well as Shakespeare, but it's a fantastic tool for replacing or helping people deal with trauma.
Yes.
And I on a side note, commercially, I remember a couple of the guys from the committee talking about how they were hired by Right Guard when that first came out, the early 60s, and they went on talk shows talking about the history of antiperspirant and how they found cavemen had used these rocks and so on. And they did it deadpan. It was probably Peter Bonerz and Howard. I'm not sure who, but nonetheless, they were taken totally straight, and they were making money off the commercialism. Balance.
It teaches you. It teaches you confidence. Confident, and I've a buddy, Steve Waltine, says real confidence or fake confidence, there's no difference, and it's true. It gives you that like. Play it straight. I love when people don't like, to me, it's getting laughs are fun, but I enjoy even more when people think I'm serious and 100% committed to something and they buy into it. To me, that I've always been, ever since I first took a class, that's
get ready. They want to punch you then.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to take it. Right.
My nose, I can finally feel. Where if people want to connect with you, take classes with you, or just bring you on board to do shows, or just follow what you're doing on social media, what's the best way they can do it?
Right here.
Facebook.
Yeah, I guess I've got a website that needs to be updated because no one knows the program it was written in. It's jeffreyweissman.com, but you can email me through that or read about various old things. I on Instagram at Jeffrey J. Weissman, and that's Jeffrey. J. Weissman is Weissman. Twitter at JEF Weissman, and Jeffrey Weissman Actor is my fan page here on Facebook. And then, I have the Bay Area Professional Actors Studio that I work through, as well as the San Francisco Acting Academy. But I mostly have been doing one-on-one coaching. So reach me through jeffreyweissman.com. There's an email button on the homepage, or here on Facebook, you can messenger me.
Oh, well, I'm a big fan of yours, and we've known each other. We've met through social media, and it was such a thrill playing with you. And whether it's in person, virtual, whatever it is, man, I can't wait to play with you again. Thanks, my friend.
Hey, thank you for having me on, Jay. What a treat. Thank you, everyone.
Take care. Bye, buddy. Bye.
Okay, goodbye.